Yo, how's it going, everybody? It's MacklinGaming, and we have to talk about Pokemon Legends EA. There's always a lot of controversy that comes up with a Pokemon game and a new Pokemon release. And here we are. It's the first release in 3 years since Scarlet and Violet. How has Game Freak and Pokemon evolved in those 3 years? And what is the response from gamers and fans around the world about Pokemon Legends EA? Let's talk about it. So I was going to make this video yesterday, but I was playing Pokemon Legends EA all day, and I was also watching a lot of NFL. Gotta watch my Bears. 4th win in a row. They're 4-2 after an 0-2 start. Let's go. Watch out for the Bears. So I want to start from the beginning because I actually went to a GameStop midnight release for Pokemon Legends EA and picked that up. That was a lot of fun. We had some fun people, some characters in line with me. And just being at a midnight release in 2025 for a physical game and having a bunch of people in line like hyped for the same thing that you are, like that is always a fun experience, a magical experience now that it's so few and far between. Like most people don't do this anymore with physical game midnight releases. So anyway, that was an awesome time, but I've been playing ever since then. I'm about 20 hours in to Pokemon Legends EA. And what do I think about the game? Obviously, I'm a huge Pokemon fan. I always say it on my channel. I have nothing but positive things to say. Like, I know Game Freak has had their struggles lately, you know, converting to the 3D game instead of making a 2D game, right? They've tried to transition to 3D. It hasn't been great for them, I'll admit that. But here we are with another release, with an open world release. And I think Pokemon Legends EA on the Switch 2 is great. Mind you, I play it on the Switch 2. I have not played it on the Switch 1, so I don't know how it runs, but let's get that out of the way first and foremost. The performance on Switch 2 is flawless, 60 frames per second. There's no dips. The only negative thing I would say about it is there's pop-in this game, right? Because you're in an open world, you know, you're running down the block of the city, and boom, there's pop-in. There's some person or some Pokemon that just popped right in front of you. And the Switch 2 still has this, so I think it's based on the Switch 1's, you know, load-in process, right? I don't think they changed that for Switch 2, but the resolution and frame rate are perfect. Like, you know, everyone complained about Scarlet and Violet. Well, that's completely fixed. The performance part is completely fixed. So that's excellent. Now, let's talk about the actual game. So this game takes place in the Kalos region in Lumio City. Yeah, we are back to Lumio City. It feels great because I played Pokemon X like a year and a half ago now. It was like Pokemon Day, February of 2024 is when they announced Pokemon Legends EA. I might as well hold it up because I forgot to in the intro. Got the physical Switch 2 copy. But Pokemon X was a great time for me to experience Lumio City, and it's very much based off and influenced off Paris, France, right? That's the vibe we're going for here in this game. But for me to play and hear the music of Pokemon X when you're running around Lumio City, that for me like makes all the difference for now, for playing Legends EA now. And I hear the remade music, this like jazzy orchestra playing. It's like a jazz band with an orchestra combined, and they're playing that old music from Pokemon X but brought back to the modern day. So that was excellent to hear. Love to hear that. But what are you doing in this city with Pokemon? Well, there's a detective, and she needs your help investigating and analyzing these wild zones around the city, which are popping up with wild Pokemon in them. And they're like these little park areas of the city. And that is where you can go to catch wild Pokemon and level up your Pokemon and grind and stuff. When you first start out, it's like, where are the wild Pokemon gonna be? This is just a big city. Well, they're mostly in these zones. However, you can find other wild Pokemon just on the city blocks outside of wild zones. And that I really like to see because they do like very realistic kind of habitats. Like the Garbodor and the Trubbish are in the alleyway next to the dumpsters. You know, the Patrats and the little Watchhogs, they're like in the alleys too. And Pidgeys are up in trees on buildings, and Fletchlings, like it's very natural in the city of like what Pokemon you'd find there. But then all the other ones, it's like you'd never find them in the city. Well, they're in these wild zones. and you go into the wild zones, catch a new Pokemon, and each wild zone is like leveled up 1 through 10, and they have increasingly more difficult and higher level Pokemon for you to find in those wild zones. Then every night there's a battle zone. At nighttime, there's a big red battle zone on the map. If you go there, you can battle trainers with their Pokemon. So this is where you get your trainer battles in. And it's fun. They have these like little mini game, these cards that tell you to do specific skills like super effective attacks with a fire type, or sneak up on enemies and get the first hit and take their Pokemon out while you're sneaking. So yeah, you can stealth in this game and have your Pokemon stealth attack another trainers or a wild Pokemon too. So that's all really fun in this game. Now, before I get into the combat, I want to talk quickly about how the crafting system from Pokemon Legends Arceus is essentially gone here. There's no making your own Pokeballs, but you can still throw Pokeballs at wild Pokemon just out of the blue without having to battle them, and that's great. Even if you miss your ball throw, there's a guy near the Pokemon Center that will collect them for you and return it for you, which is great, because I was like, oh, that seems kind of cheap, like too easy. But however, you can't craft your own Pokeballs anymore. But there are these Mega Shards. There's Mega Shards all over the map, and those are what you craft and pick up, and those help you buy Mega Evolution Stones. But we're gonna get to that part in a bit. Now, as you're battling these Pokemon wild or with a trainer, what is the battle system like? Well, I think it is one of the best that Pokemon has come up with so far that isn't turn-based, right? We've got this action combat, real-time Pokemon battles, right? You throw your Pokemon out, the other trainers got theirs out, you can see it, you can see the trainer in the background moving around, and then you have a cooldown system for attacks. This is the best part, because your attacks no longer have PP. You just attack whenever you want. Each attack you can do however many times you want, unlimited. It's just, it needs a cooldown after you do it. And each attack or status move has different amount of cooldowns time, so you have to like check on the cooldown time for your Pokemon moves. It's a really fun, fast, energetic, frenetic battle, because you just go in, let's say you're super effective, it's like Fire Fang, and then they're just boom, and then a couple seconds later, not even like a half second later, they're returning with their attack, and then a couple seconds later with the cooldown, you're able to attack. It's just like really fast, and battles last like 5 seconds, maybe 10 seconds. Like that is really exciting, I think, for Pokemon, right? Instead of like you're sitting there waiting for your turn, thinking about what you're gonna do. In this, it's like, oh, the other Pokemon's just gonna attack me if I don't make a decision. So you have to like think fast and press the attack or press the status move that you want to do. So I think the battle system, the real-time action combat for Pokemon is really fun. I don't know if they're gonna put it in Gen 10 next year, but I wouldn't even be upset. I know a lot of people would be outraged, but I really like what they're doing here with the Legends series and its combat. So I mentioned Mega Evolutions. That is like the center of the story and the theme here of this game. Mega Evolutions are back because we're back in Kalos and Lumio City. And I'm so glad that I got into Mega Evolutions after playing through Pokemon X, and I played through Alpha Sapphire. Alpha Sapphire got me really into the Mega Evolutions because of all the Gen 3 ones that were so sick. And now I'm here, I'm playing Legends EA, and I'm so excited. Like, you don't get Mega Evolutions right away, but you have to work your way up to it. And I finally got there. I've got my Mega Ring, which is like a bracelet on your wrist, and that's how you initiate these Mega Evolutions, right? It has to be the final form of a Pokemon, right? It can't be the little babies that Mega Evolve, but so far I got Feraligatr because I picked Totodile at the beginning. I've got Gardevoir, Aerodactyl, Gyarados. I've got all of these sick Megas, you know, Absol. You can get your own Mega Evolutions, but also there are big boss Pokemon in this game that you have to fight that are Mega Evolved, and they call them Rogue Mega Evolution, which is, you know, Pokemon Mega Evolving on their own with no trainer. So you have to go and like quell their damage and destruction around the city. So those are your big boss battles in the game, and they work similar to Arceus big boss battles. It's like a huge rampaging Pokemon, and you're in this big arena and you can dodge them. But in this game, you have to just use your Pokemon to attack. You're not throwing anything at the Pokemon the whole time. You're just attacking with your Pokemon, chipping away. And you have your little friend with you, Tawny. She has her Pokemon out, so it's almost like a real-time raid battle. And eventually you can chip away at the Pokemon and defeat them. But I'm not going to tell you which ones they are, but they're all Mega Evolved. There's like 4 or 5 that I've faced, at least so far. But there's probably more than that. So get excited for that. Tons of new Mega Evolutions in the game. I think there's like 20-something new ones for a total of like 46 Mega Evolved Pokemon in this game. So I don't even know which ones all got their Mega Evolutions and which didn't. I just remember from which ones had it in, you know, Gen 3 and 6. And now I'm trying to find them all. I hear Victory Bell, you know, I have a Victory Bell. That's one of my favorite Gen 1 Pokemon because you could find Bellsprout in the blue version, not in red. Red was oddish, you know, to Vileplume. But if I could get Mega Victory Bell, Mega Ampharos, I just need the stones for them. That's going to be nuts. I also want to mention the side missions. Just like in Arceus, there's tons of side missions. And you should definitely do them because they reward you with awesome rare Pokemon like the Kalos starters, the Kanto starters, so Gen 6, Gen 1 starter Pokemon. I got a Riolu from a side quest, and I also got a shiny Pokemon from a side quest. So they will guarantee you a shiny if you go find this one certain side quest. But that brings me to an awesome thing that happened to me less than 10 hours into the game, maybe 10 hours of playtime. I actually encountered my first full odds shiny Pokemon, which is insane to think about. I love when this happens to me. It happened to me in Violet as well in my playthrough. I'm just playing with no, you know, improvements to my shiny rate. And I just, boom, hear the jingle. And I see a wild Pokemon, 1 in 4,096 odds to appear, right? So that is insane. So I'm just like freaking out. And I got the video right here. I'm going to show you what I did. So as you can see, I got a beautiful shiny Fletchling that is now a shiny Talonflame. But that was such a fun experience to actually encounter a shiny like that. Full odds, baby. That is crazy. So Pokemon is always something that I'm going to support and enjoy because of all the joy and happiness it has brought me since I was a kid, right? So I know there's some people who think Pokemon is trash. They're just going to make fun of, they're never going to play the games. But I'm telling you, this is a great installment from Game Freak and the Pokemon franchise. This is a great Pokemon game. I'm giving this a 9 out of 10 for my first impressions, 20 hours in so far. This is the best Pokemon game in the last few years, for sure. I think I'm enjoying it more than Arceus, even though I loved Arceus's like nature. And when I heard they're going only in the city in this game, I was like, oh no, how's that gonna go? How's that gonna play out? But so far, I'm just loving the feel and the gameplay loop of this game and the Pokemon, the Mega Evolutions that are in it. So what do you guys think about Pokemon Legends EA? Have you played it, or are you just writing it off as another garbage game? Let me know what you think in the comments. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video and subscribe. I always appreciate you guys subscribing, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.